breach, it allows Team Liquid on the attack to play a lot faster, and it's just a pace that Na'Vi can't really shut down in a lot of times. A lot of those A executes on the side of Liquid were really tough, and there wasn't really too much of a response from Na'Vi until individual clutches came in.
True, but I would say at the same time, it was not just only rough pushing on the attacking side for Liquid. There were also good mid-round calls, and we saw with a 40 seconds they've swapped sides again. But here it got a little tricky. Here it got a little interesting because things were looking so possible and so doable. And in the end, it is a 1 versus 1. And I think this is something we really need to emphasize, particularly about this second half. It was not a convincing Na'Vi. It was not like those rounds, yeah, easy execute, we get ourselves 5 people on the side, we're coming out with 5 people. That didn't happen. It was insanely close from the Na'Vi side of things. Liquid pushed them quite far. Yeah. There's so many moments that I could think of right now where I thought, like, okay, this could have turned the other way instantly.
Yeah, there are also a lot of moments where both of the coaches were like, oh, what is going on? Because the games were so incredibly close. And as you mentioned yourself as well, Ryan, it was those individual pop-up performances, rather. Are they still swapped shirts?
They're still swapped shirts.
They're like polar opposites in terms of reaction.
So it looks like Doombrush is cheering a lot, but it's actually Team Liquid winning a lot of those rounds in the end. Now it seems to be Na'Vi that are on top looking at some of the reactions, but it really did feel like, I think in the battle of the coaches, I do think that Emil won this one.
You know what's the worst about those two? The matter of fact that they even have the same haircut. You cannot even.
They did that on purpose.
They 100% did that on purpose. They have the same barber for sure. But yeah, valid point. I think it really seemed like at the end of the day, Emil was seeming. You know, when we talk about expectations, right? We would absolutely say this is a Na'Vi pick. This is a Na'Vi full roster. This is a Na'Vi actually looking good on the map. And I fully agree with what you said right there. Emil seemed to be absolutely on top of the game on finding a good adaptation to the Na'Vi with the resources he has.
Yeah, it did feel like potentially Na'Vi was really easy to read this time around. They had individual performances as well, pop-off plays from Shao, for example. Had a great game, and those individual performances again coming in to secure some very crucial rounds that could have swung completely the way of TL.
For sure, like I feel like if Shroud's not in this kind of form, it really does go Liquid's way, and it could have been a lot more dominant for them in the end. Just rounds like this, I think this was off the back of the breach ult being used on the attack, that Shroud's been able to hold his ground and face up against such an attack-facing team. Yeah. It was those kind of moments that as soon as things start to go a little bit iffy, they start to rely on Shao and Soigetsu to win out some clutches, like in the second to last round. Yeah. Those were the moments where Na'Vi were comfortably winning. But when it came to the macro, the big picture kind of play, I think that's where Liquid looked like the better team. And most concerningly, Na'Vi looked the same as they did last time, which is not really anything that we've ever said about Na'Vi. It's like they've never looked readable, but it seemed that Liquid had a really good read on what they were trying to do with their comp.
Вопрос есть. Как быстро саппортится?
No, I mean, most importantly, they've done a change again about predictability, right? Change is a big word, but they've obviously went back to the fade, and it didn't feel...
Долго, быстро, очень быстро. Смотря какой. Хайнц, Цезарь.